So welcome to our pre-credential teacher support orientation. I am Steve Thornton. I am the coordinator for new teacher support, and we run the pre-credential teacher support program, the Madeira Induction Consortium program, and the Peer Assistance Review program, also known as PAR. So welcome, and thank you for coming. And let's do this. Let's introduce ourselves, and we'd like to know who you are, where you're teaching, and why you decided to become a teacher. And I'll let you first kind of just talk about that in your table groups versus a real short conversation over there. But in your table groups, who are you, where are you teaching, and why did you want to become a teacher? Go.
I decided to become a teacher. That's when I realized
I just came from there. Oh, you did?
they're one of the things that's cool. I realized that there is ways you can help things, especially with kids who are at a young age. So that's when I decided to move my career early on. Career change and say, this is something that I want to do.
I'm Angela. I'm at Washington Kindergarten. And I wanted to be a teacher because I was
I love the whole thing. It's fun. Yeah, it's 5 miles that way to the store.
Hey, I love my school. I love everything about it. So I'm very happy to be working with Ms. Joe. I was living there for a while. It just was, I got blessed because my daughter was in the autism program there. And I was TK all the way to 6th grade. So I'm able to be there, support my daughter, and sometimes be a teacher. I've always wanted to be a teacher. That's something that I wanted to get probably 5th grade. I had a teacher that has impacted my life and pushed me for my education. That's the grade I wanted to teach too. So the grade level, the school, everything. I just thought
Going back to that.
I got really best.
6th grade.
There was a little
That was my first. I taught high school at Grand High School. I turned to the Grand High School in 6th grade at Nevada Middle School. Chavez Hill Middle School. Nevada. The block class. First period, fine. 2nd period was reading intervention for 7 kids. 3rd period was after lunch, 2 hours, 23 girls and 11 boys. 11-year-old girls are not pre-adolescent, they're pre-human.
6th grade is that? Or 7th?
6th grade girls and 7th grade boys.
I've been working at Thomas for almost 11 years.
Get your work done.
Oh yeah. I like that.
You all have incoming preschoolers from the site, and the best preschool teacher in their unified is at your site, growing kids up into kindergarten in Indiana, and she's my wife.
Inspire the next generation to young bigger and better things than me.
Washington's a great place. Every kid walks to school and gets right. No buses.
Everybody always talks about that.
I hear about it.
I forgot my water at the park.
Of course! It's for you! What happens when you're late? Alright, let's do this real quick. Give a shout out. We want to know who you are and where you're at. And would you, instead of telling me why, because you did have table groups, I want you to tell me that August 15th is your first day ever in the classroom, or your 15th year, or where you're at. you're new to Madera Unified for sure, or you wouldn't be here today. And then we're going to talk about your credential because that is so important. And I like talking and picking on the back table because they think it's church and no one gets involved. And so I don't know. We'll start with you.
Okay, I'm Veronica Mendoza. I'll be RSP at Mountain Vista High School.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've actually been with the district for 14 years at the para, and I am starting now as a PIP.
Fine. Well, awesome. So first day as a teacher on the 15th of May,
Yes.
right? Okay,
Yes.
very good. But you've been in the district for a long time?
For 14 years.
So are you coming to orientation Thursday and Friday or not? Or you
Actually, yeah, I was told to go.
told you? Most of that will be like, cool. And a little bit of it will be like,
Well, Friday I think is the technology part, and that's the part that I'm more interested in.
Right.
And I was told that I needed to be there
Right.
to tour Madera and the schools. Not so
Get
much.
free lunch out of it.
I grew up in Madera, so I'm like, oh yeah, I can
So you
try
got-
more.
so do we dare ask when did you graduate high school?
Well, since I'm only 24, no, 1997.
And I think I was a teacher at Madera High School starting in 2005, so we missed
Okay.
each other. But I graduated from Madera High School myself in 1983.
Awesome.
I was the class of 1983. Do the math, I'm 52 years old. So.
You know, like the day over 40.
Well, it should be. So your credential is good already.
Bye, guys.
And this is my 8th year as the director of this program. So yay.
Just our names and what?
Name and where, and is it your first day or your 15th year?
Oh, okay, yeah, Karina Vasquez. I'll be teaching English at Madera South. All freshmen this year. For the first time teaching, like, as a teacher. I've taught as an instructor for, like, the parent resource centers before. I taught Spanish. And then I was an interpreter for the district previously, and I've been in the district for 4 years as a classified employee. So, it's like a brand
And you're
new
coming
adventure.
Thursday also?
Yeah,
Yes.
Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, I will tell you, wonderful experience. It's going to be a whole new world.
It was awesome today in the morning. It was draining, but I had an awesome
Yeah,
morning.
freshman
for
kids. I'm talking to this guy about 6th grade. Freshman. Tough. So we're going to talk about that, so how you can survive and have your best success.
My name is Kim Lovato. I am teaching at Millview, the SEC first and third. It's my first time in Madera. I got lost getting here. My GPS took me down there. I'm like, there's just
So random there.
I don't live in Madera, so I'm leaving Madera. So I guess Thursday will be really informative for me.
Yes.
For Madera. Yeah, my 14th was my first day in the hospital.
First day in the classroom. Very good.
Hey, I'm Lizetta Cowan. I'll be at Cesar Chavez and STC as well, first through third. Oh yeah, so it's my first year like teaching special education. I've previously been a sub and preschool teacher.
You're a preschool teacher, okay, so that's with a 2-year degree, okay. Great. Again, brand new world. Paperwork, oh,
Yes.
thank you. I hate paperwork. That's like your whole job.
Yeah, but I get prep. I get prep periods.
We don't know.
No.
My name's Jamie Arias, my first year teaching, August 14th at James Madison, 5th grade. And, what else was I supposed to
That's
say?
it?
That's it.
Hi everybody, I'm Miriam Leon. I'm going to be starting at Washington as a kindergarten teacher for the first time ever. Yeah.
I'm Angela Elia, and I'm also going to be at Washington Elementary as a kindergarten teacher for the first time ever.
My name is Marco Sandoval. I'm also going to be at Washington as a 6th grade teacher for the first time.
I'm Rebecca Black. I'm going to be at Lincoln as a kindergarten teacher. It's going to be my first time teaching, but I was there last year as an aide.
Okay.
I'm Samantha Rosa. This is my first year in Madera. I'm going to be teaching at Rose Kindergarten.
McRose?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm Erin Barney, and my first year teaching, I was a sub last year, and I will be first grade at Alpha.
Oh, very good.
My name is David Sullivan. I'll be teaching 8th grade at Dixieland. I actually started kindergarten right over there.
What?
And graduated in 85, so you got me right.
There you go. We always 50. All right, and you're 8th grade at Dixieland.
8th grade at Dixieland is the first year.
Very good.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Smith. I'll be at Pershing teaching first grade for the first time.
Very good. Hey, Caitlin, did you come to us from Golden Valley or no?
No, I'm from Fresno.
Okay, so we have another Caitlin, something else.
Okay, so I'm Patricia. I'm gonna be teaching over at James Monroe, 4th grade for the first time.
Fantastic. Welcome. All right, so my first question is, do you know what kind of credential you have? We're going to discover that. How many interns do we have? Any interns? 1 intern, 2 interns, SPED interns, right? Okay. Anyone else intern? Okay. Let's do this. Let's talk about, well, let's get some business out of the way. How do you do business with me? I believe that we have this in your folder. Is the contact information in there? Yes, yellow piece of paper. All right. So this is how you do business with us. This is our conference room. It says BITSA, but BITSA doesn't exist anymore. It's called Madera Induction Consortium, NIC. And we also support you. You are in, if you ever hear it, we call it the PICS, for Pre-Credential Teacher Support, PICS. Okay? And our office is literally next door. There's the number and the fax and my cell number. And my administrative assistant is Jessica Salazar. She's actually been in this department longer than I have. I think she's working on her 11th or 12th year. She's amazing, very detail oriented. I'm the big picture guy, and she really makes me look good, and she's wonderful. And if you ever have an issue, she will do all that she can to solve it for you. AT&T has been very generous with me. They said, Mr. Thornton, you are a long-time customer. We're going to give you unlimited calling and unlimited texting. So I want to invite you to take advantage of that if you can. Thank you. Somebody got it. They didn't get it this morning. Too scared, I guess. I don't know. And so I understand some of you been in, was it EL training today that you all had to go to? And was it 8 to 3 or something like that? And
I was at my high school.
You were at the high school just doing your thing, but you weren't required to be there? Or you had meetings in there as well?
No, I was required. It was a new teacher orientation.
A new teacher orientation. Okay. And y'all got your time sheet for that at least?
Yeah.
Okay. Yay. The bad news is that you are here today because of your credential, and so because of your credential requirement, we are not putting you on a timesheet today. So sorry about that. But I promise not to drag you in anymore. This will be it. This is the only required, gotta get here meeting that you have is this orientation so we can explain how to do this. All right. I want you to take out in your handbook, there is a section titled Provisional Internship Permit, and there should be a matrix handout. Looks like this. I guess you'd call that a graphic organizer, yes? Mm-hmm. T-bar, a 3-column graphic organizer. In your table groups, you get to talk about this. I want you to read just about the provisional internship permit, PIP. Okay? Even if you're an intern, I still want you to kind of take a look at that and talk about it in your table groups. Tell me, what is a PIP? What do you have to do to become a PIP? And how do you keep your credentials? What are the requirements? Little equity distribution. And you are? Kazoy? Kazoy. How about
It's okay, that's fine.
Kazoy?
Yes. Kazoy.
Kazoy. Kazoy.
Kazoy.
Kazoy.
Yes.
Kazoy. 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 And where are you teaching? Sierra District, what grade? TK. That's a good kindergarten teacher to get now. And is it your first day or are you teaching?
No, I've been doing these for a while, but this is my first teacher.
There's kind of preschool kids in there.
Yes. I'm familiar with age.
What kind of grades are you? Okay, very good. So we want you to read about what it is to be a kid, how you get it, how you hold on to it, and you're gonna write some notes in here. And talk about it as a table, it's very interesting. And that's, we just get started. Oh, I have cold drinks in the refrigerator, soda, water, leaded and unleaded soda. And I have cookies over there, it's fruit, it's crackers, and all that. Kazoo. Just Pip will take this to
Okay.
Just Pip. I could have put them in packets, but I was trying to save a little paper and whatever, it stayed plain because I'm lazy. Alright, so think about it, jot some notes down. What does it take to be a Pip? Talk about it in groups. Otherwise, I'll do all the talking and you're all going to go to sleep on me. So, in order to be a Pip, the first thing we need, talk about it. We need a bachelor's degree, and then we need a pass our CPS.
Right, like, are you guys tip?
No. Fill the requirements, whether you have a bachelor's degree or you have.
Because we were just wondering, because we were
Have 10 or more units in 4 of the following subject areas, or you can have
they're like done with our
10 or more units in 3 of the following, 3 out of 8 subject areas, plus 10 in 2 of the other. I'm glad I took courses this summer, because now I learned a lot more than I did.
You didn't really take that many jackets over there. You did like this week, just your
And you can talk about your groups.
I got some tips like so many she's like, no, you're alive. She's like,
All right, let me pull your attention together. What are the requirements?
The first thing you need is a bachelor's degree.
And it has to be liberal arts. Or in your subject. With some exceptions, right? You can also take the subject matter competency test. Right? Subject matter competency test. CSAT or ANSAT. Okay. What else?
There has to be an acute staffing.
I couldn't.
There has to be an acute staffing need.
Has to be a need. In fact, when a preliminary credential teacher or clear credential teacher is hired, it's considered a consent item, and there's a list given to the board, and the board goes, yay. In your case, you were your own line item agenda on the board, and they had to talk about you and say yes or no. And of course, they trusted the administration that's hiring you to say yes. But if you wanted to, you could go back and look in the board minutes and find your name all by itself. They had to discuss you and make that happen. There has to be a need, the board has to know about it, and the board has to move to make you hired. What else? There's a test you have to pass, CBS. You do. You have to have a pulse. Oh, I'm sorry, fingerprint.
Pulse helps.
Anything else? You have to pay for it. We all have to pay for all of our credentials. But yes, that's true. $100 a credential. And you had to pay before you got paid. Come on, man. Hurt me.
I'm just thinking of the list that they gave me in HR.
That's pretty much it. That's how you get the credential. It is, and you should know this, a district issued. That's important. That means that you can't take your PIP or STIP and go to another school district. You have to stay here. So we own you, at least for a year. Good. What's the difference, just by the way, between these requirements and a substitute teacher? And
Isn't there another way you use substitute as well?
if you're a currently enrolled student and you have, I want to think, it's 90 units, you can become substitute teacher. Yeah, but by and large, you don't have to have a special degree. You could be a physics substitute teacher and have majored in art, right? But as long, so it's a little bit looser for a substitute teacher, but is there any prior experience required? Any special training required? None. You're really just marginally more qualified to teach than a substitute teacher. And it's kind of wow, right? So that means that you're going to need a lot of help and support and training to manage this year ahead of you, right? Okay. How long can you have this credential? 1 year. Can it be renewed? No. once in your lifetime. Okay, and this is important because we don't always see it or catch it. HR is good, but they don't catch everything. If you have been a STIP before and now you are a PIP, so you work somewhere else or you worked in our district, I just tell this to everybody. It sounded like everybody today is brand new PIP, brand new first day, except for our 2 interns over here. Let's say you were a PIP and you say, oh, I'll just become a STIP next year, and come to find out you already were a STIP, we're in trouble. So please note, if your 1 year means 1 year, in this case, there is no exception. You get to be a PIP for 1 school year, 1 academic year, and that's it. That's important to also know. It's 1 academic year that expires sort of kind of on the last day of school. Unless you're teaching summer school, then it'll carry you through summer school and then it ends. All right? And that means no matter what, if you want to be a teacher in the fall, there's another step you have to take. Unless you're an intern, and that's another issue. We'll cover that in a moment because we want all of you to move into their chair and from their chair into preliminary. Okay? It is possible, and we have had this case, that somebody's already gone through all of their preliminary classes and they have to pass 1 more test, or they have to turn in their work to get their TPA, their teacher performance assessment finished. So we'll put them on a PIP until that comes through, and then they're preliminary. So they can go PIP to preliminary. All right? I'm throwing out a lot of words here, but preliminary is the gold. You want the preliminary credential. We'll talk about how to get there and what happens when you get there. And who do you see when you have your preliminary and you want to get it clear? Hey, you get to see me again. Woohoo! All right. Please, in your jail groups, it'll probably take a little shorter time. Read the STIP and see if there's any differences between the 2. Short-term staff permit. All right, what did you discover? Is there any differences?
The CSATs, you have to pass all 3 CSATs in order to be on the STEM.
No. But you have to make progress towards passing those tests. You have to pass those tests to be an intern. That's the difference. The PIP and the STIP, and particularly the PIP, was designed to give you time to pass your subject matter competency tests. Now, I will tell you that the rules are changing, but they haven't changed yet. The Commission on Teacher Credentialing recognizes that there is a teacher shortage. To that we say, duh. There is a reason for it, by the way. We know that in 2008, there was massive layoffs of teachers because the budget crunch, and they cut a lot of things out, and they cut out electives and some of the duplicative classes. TK didn't exist, and they raised class size up. So imagine in 2nd grade with 38 kids in there, it was crazy. Okay? We laid off a lot of teachers in 2008. Well, people going to college says, well, I'm not going to become a teacher, there aren't any jobs, right? And so slowly but surely the economy's come around and funding has come back, and so we said, let's add these classes and put music in elementary. We've hired a Madera Unified elementary PE specialist for every campus just about, whereas before we had like 4 PE teachers and they ran from every campus. They literally were at a different school site every week and multiple sites during the day. And now they're pretty stationary, 1 or 2 campuses. We have lowered class sizes and we've added also, now all of a sudden we have all this need. But we also know, and what really isn't talked about is our baby boomer generation, those my age and older, are retiring. So if you start teaching when you're 25 and you put your 30 years in, how old are you going to be? Come on now. 55. And that's the minimum age for retirement to get your benefits from STIRS. Okay? Well, 55 to 65, that's the boomer generation. And so about 1/3 of our teaching force in the next 10 years is going to retire. That's a lot of teachers. Okay? And students said, I'm not going to be a teacher, there's no jobs. We know that there's a 25% gap between how many students are at the university and how many teachers we need. 25%, that's every year. The teacher shortage isn't going away anytime soon. Okay? That's why you're hired, because there's this massive teacher. We can't find substitutes because you all became teachers. Having said that, they know there's a teacher shortage and that some people don't test well. And it's preventing people from getting into the teacher profession because of the test. So they're going back to the way it used to be before No Child Left Behind. No Child Left Behind came into play and said you must prove that you are competent in the area in which you're teaching if you are receiving federal money. And we're receiving a lot of federal money here in Madera Unified, as I would say 99% of the school districts in California are. So you've got to show subject matter competency, you can't be a teacher. And it used to be that all you had to do was have a major in English. Who was my English teacher? Major in English. You're an English teacher. Woohoo! I majored in psychology. No, go take the test. I can't be a social studies teacher. Go take the test. So I did. I took the CSAT just like you did in single subject SAT. And in fact, there's 3 sub-tests for history. And if you know me, you'll understand why this is funny. I went to the test site and I literally thought, how am I going to pass this test? I know. Who's grading the test? It's got to be college professors and other teachers. I'm going to answer every question like I am a far left progressive. And I passed the first time. Now, if you know me, you'll understand that far left progressive is way over here and Steve Thornton's way over here. But I did. I passed the test. I also was a reading intervention guide, and they said, hey, you need an English credential. Uh-oh. So I went back and took the test, and there's 4 subsets in English. Did you take them yet?
Yeah. Did you pass them? So I had a problem because my training book said that I had the 5 hours to use as I chose. So I like zoomed through like multiple choice with no problem. The essays, I did an outline for both of my essays, and I thought I'll go back and with all the time I have left, I'm gonna write my wonderful essays. So I skipped the long essays. I went to the short answer, finished that, felt confident, had over an hour of time saved, and then I couldn't go back. But I did pass the 2 multiple choice, and I have not heard back about the short answer, but I wasn't worried. But I know for obviously who's gonna pass an outline.
There you go.
But I wept in the car, but I came to terms with it, and I'm just gonna retake.
Well, I'll tell you that I passed subtests 1 and 2 the first time.
Yeah.
I passed 3 the second time, even though I took 3 and 4, and I passed 4 the third time. So it took me 3 tries to pass that 4th subset. And I found out through talking to people that there's a buzzwords that you have to use as part of your answer. So I was answering correctly, but I didn't say pathos and ethos and like, right? And stage left, and I said, you gotta move to it, and I got a stage left, right? I didn't get until, and when I put those words in, I was able to pass the test. There was one other thing that happened. I'm not a Shakespeare fan, just not. Most English teachers are English majors, and they are tricked into thinking that they get to go back to high school and teach literature and poetry and all the fun stuff, and nope, you're going to teach the writing conventions, grammar, sentence structure, how to write an essay, how to defend it with logic and facts. Actually, that's the part I liked. Teaching Shakespeare, not so much. And I'm like, oh, so sure enough, there's a question on drama and regarding Shakespeare, A Midsummer Night's Dream. Well, it just so happened that 2 nights before I took the test, I actually watched it on TV. And they asked me a question about how would you stage this, would you do this or that? Oh, it's got to be traditional because, right, and outdoors, and it can't be all, would it be computer generated this and flashy? Like, no, it's got to be right. And whew, passed. Okay, so we're, the credential that you hold, interns, not yet, we'll get there, is designed for you to make progress towards subject matter competency, but the rules are changing. In September, it's my understanding that, and it may be later, they're going to pull back on that requirement and let you go back to, if you have a major in this area, and your university okays it, you're good. Now I heard somebody's here was poli-sci.
Yeah.
Poli-sci, you're taking the test because that doesn't show subject matter competency for K6.
Bachelor's 19 and an MBA.
There you go.
Yeah, I can't teach it.
Far on the scale, getting paid well, but you got to take the test.
Yeah, I've had to take multi-subject and then to file science, general science 1 and 2 in my own. So I can teach it.
So what are you teaching?
8th grade self-contained.
8th grade, so you need a multiple subject.
I passed all those. So.
There's one more test coming that you haven't taken yet. Multiple subject people and SPED people, you have to take the RECA. That's coming.
Yeah.
You're good for preschool, but multiple subjects going to probably require the liberal arts study. So you're probably going to have to take the test.
So for English, it's going to say specifically only English majors, right?
Communication major probably doesn't qualify.
I did my-
Journalism would, I think, but I don't know what the rules are yet. They haven't published it. Right? Science is going to change too because it's the new generation science standards. And what happens right now is if you want to teach biology, you have to have a biology degree. You want to teach chemistry, you have to have chemistry. So a chemistry teacher can't teach biology, they can't teach physics, they can't teach anatomy, they can't teach earth science, they can't teach, I guess the new one is living science, right? And now there's, again, teacher shortage. How do we make this easier? We're going to have one science degree or one science credential. So it's going to change, okay? For instance, in social studies, you don't have to have a U.S. history degree or a world history degree. You just have to have a degree in some sort of history or social science field, psychology. I would have qualified. Yes.
When you say you have to take the test, are you talking about CSATs or RECA?
CSATs.
Okay.
So because RECA's coming, but it's not yet. It's part of your credentialing program. You haven't gotten there yet. We haven't given you any reading instructional classes yet, and that's teaching reading.
I have a question. But as a PIP, can you still take the RECA?
Yes, because you can sign up for that anytime you want.
You probably don't want to take it inside your
In
classes.
fact, like I mentioned, there are some that have finished all the credentialing program, except they have not passed RECA. We hire them and say, okay, go to work and work on passing the RECA, and as soon as you do, you get your preliminary credentials.
How do you show progress towards, like, just passing another section?
We're going to show you that today.
Okay.
I'm going to explain that.
Are sections of our credential program preparing us for the RECA, or?
Yes.
Okay,
In
so we
multiple
should hold
subjects.
off until like a certain.
Yes, because it's how to teach reading. And if you're kindergarten, first grade, even our professional development is going to assist you in passing RECA. Because everything you do is really about being a reading teacher in the first grade. So learn how to count, but mostly it's about how do I teach reading. And that's what RECA is. Sixth grade, a lot harder because you're doing reading intervention-ish. We teach you how to read through fourth grade, and after that you read to learn, right? You learn how to read until fourth grade, and then after that you read to learn. So your sixth grade, where's the reading class? Because, now it's an intervention. A little tougher.
Now, STIP is 1 year as well, or?
Tickles back of my throat. Good question. This is one academic year. This is one calendar year. What's the difference? So if we hired you in February, and we give you a STIP, that means it expires the following February. If we give you a PIP, it actually expires at the end of the year, at the end of the calendar, the academic year. So there's some differences there.
So you can't
And HR knows all the rules, and they'll put you on the right path. But basically, you have 1 year of each, and that's it. There are no exceptions to PIP or STIP.
I was hired on a STIP, and is it from when we signed our contract, or is it from when the school years? Because I'm assuming it'd be when I signed my
It's when the
contract.
credential is issued to you, and it may be the same day.
Because they said I was able to teach summer school next year. That it
One
carried me through.
calendar year. Okay. PIP, STIP, now I want you to read about an intern, and it is very different. Read about and talk about what does it take to become an intern, and what do I have to do to continue being an intern?
Is it just a bachelor's? Can I ask? That's why she was waiting.
It's just a very fast.
Until I was she said that if I go and ask them all, then I can get a STIP. And if I pass them all, then I can get a STIP.
Oh. How many hours of professional development or anything like that required in these two credentials? Anything in there like that? It's a trick question. The answer is no. But you do have to what? You do have to meet with a mentor 1 hour a week. Listen, y'all. That's Chachilla for everybody. Y'all. I know it's late, but make me feel good by laughing. And it means that you have to meet with your mentor 1 hour a week. Some of you might take on coaching duties, some of you have families, some of you are going to school, some of you doing all three. But your credential, not the district, not the county, your credential, the state of California requires, in order for you to hold on to this credential, to meet with a mentor 1 hour a week. What happens if we go a month and my mentor comes to me and says, man, I've been trying to meet with Brian, but he's always this and always that, and we can't meet together? What do we need to do as a district office? Well, we're going to call you and find out what's going on. And we're going to put a little pressure on you and say, hey, this absolutely has to get done. Why? Because it's a credentialing requirement. In order to have the PIP or STIP, you have to meet with your mentor 1 hour a week. I promise you, I am not going to make you jump through a ton of hoops. It is meant to have a conversation, and you're going to record your conversation via a journal that you submit once a month. That's it. That's all the requirements that I have for you. Because I know you have a job that you're trying to learn that's very difficult, You're going to school, you have a family, and you might be coaching something, I get it. We're not trying to burden you. But you have to meet with your mentor 1 hour a week. So after that first month, we give you a warning, hey, what's going on? You gotta fix this up. And it's still another month goes by and you're not meeting with your mentor. Now, maybe there's a problem with your mentor and you don't like that person. Fine, let me know about it. I'm the guy, and we'll fix it. We'll get you another one. Whatever happens, or we'll sit down and talk and find out if we can straighten things up and make it work. People are human, and you may not get along with everybody I match you up with. I'm okay with that. But you cannot not meet. Can I use a double negative, my English teacher?
So the mentor teachers, do they volunteer to do that, or is it
Yes.
someone who's gonna? Okay.
And they get paid.
Okay.
I'm going to pay them $200 a month to meet with you. Okay? Doesn't sound like a month, but now it's 4 hours a week. A month, 4 hours a month, right? I'm going to pay them to meet with you. Yes.
Are they on our site or?
As much as humanly possible, they will be at your site in your grade level.
Oh,
As much as humanly possible. So with Washington, it's got 2 PIPs, and I think I have an induction candidate in kindergarten at Washington. 4 teachers, 3 of them are like brand new. It may not be possible to find a kindergarten teacher at your site, but I might find a first grade teacher at your site.
we already have them. Like,
I line them up for you, but you can come and say, can I possibly have? And part of our requirement is we actually go through the site administrator and have them approve or recommend, and then we go and get them. It's, nice people may not be the best mentors out there, right? You don't know. They can tell you, and you might be impressed, like they're the bomb, great teacher, but the administrator knows for sure, and so we want to make sure that we get the best, okay? But we can talk about it, okay? And at Washington, I already know one that she's ready to go, and she's got approval, and that's a possibility, okay? So at your site, in your subject matter, if possible. Now we're looking at Dixieland. I'm the only 8th grade teacher there. Am I going to find another 8th grade teacher in Dixieland? I might find a 6th grade teacher, or I might have to find someone else that will come to you. Preferably, in order of priority, is on your site, in your area, on your site, in your area, in that order. So, on your site, in your area, okay. Now maybe I find a 7th grader that's on your site, but not quite matched up. All right, that didn't work because for whatever reason. All right, now I'll find another 8th grade teacher to come. Okay, that's what we'll try to do. Okay, make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. 2nd month comes, you're still not meeting with your mentor. Now what's going to happen? Are you complying with the conditions of your credential? I will take it to Kent Albertson at that point, the chief of HR, who happens to be my very direct supervisor and good friend, and say, Kent, this is where we're at. Brian has been trying to meet. Amy is Brian's mentor. I've met with Amy on a couple occasions, and she's telling me that she's made all these appointments and she's tried to work around the scheduling, but Brian for 2 months just, I don't know if the word refuses, but is unable to meet with the mentor. And I'll let Kent decide what's going to happen next. And that may be and include up to pulling you from the class. It's that serious, because it's a credential requirement. And it's very possible that CTC comes and audits us. And they're going to say, here's the requirements. Prove that you're doing what we said you can do in order to have all these seats, because we have a lot of picks in our district. Last year we had 95. Okay, we're still somewhere around there. That's an abnormally large number. That's 10%. Well, not quite, but 8% of our staff. 1,200 teachers, 100 of them are a pick. That's a lot. It's abnormally high. CTC may say, like the IRS, wow, that's kind of strange. Let's go check out what's going on in Madera. Are you following can you prove that you're doing what you say? All right, show me your mentor logs. You pull Amy's. 2 months. Hasn't met with Brian. Now the whole district is in trouble. So Kent has to make a decision. Save Brian's job or save everybody else's jobs, right? What do you think he's going to do? Kent is a great guy, has a huge heart. Kent, if you're watching, you have a great heart. He is cut and dry. And he will make the best decision for the greater good. All right, do you hear? I hope that you walk away going, man, Steve's a real nice guy, right? But I'm just trying to be real crystal clear on the expectations here. You've got to meet with your mentor every week for an hour. When can you meet with them? Before school? After school? On Saturday? Friday night at the local Starbucks? Doesn't matter. Can you meet during the school day? Not really. Because you're doing what? Teaching. All right, any single subject? Possible during your preps? Bed, you have 2 preps? No? You're elementary.
I had a prep.
You're secondary?
High school. Yeah.
So you have 2 preps. Possible that you meet with your mentor during your prep with the understanding that whatever work you were going to do, you're going to do later on your own time, right? Now, your mentor is being inconvenienced to a degree before school, after school. That's why we're paying them, okay? You're doing it because it's a credential requirement. And no, we're not going to pay you more. But I have some other things I got for you later on down the line to make life a little easier for you. I don't want to sound so harsh, but I want to make sure that you all walk away with, dang, I better be with my mentor.
When will you know who our mentor is?
I hope to have that done by next week,
Okay,
before
so
school starts.
Before school.
That's my goal.
And you said it's every month, right?
Every week,
Every month.
and you're submitting a journal once a month. I'll explain all that in a few
Okay.
minutes.
Would it be likely that we're sharing a mentor?
It's possible.
Okay. And then,
That means that she's meeting you 1 hour and you 1 hour.
So not
together.
Got it, okay.
And there's a reason for that, okay? It sounds great. Our 2 kindergarten teachers, we meet our other kindergarten, the 3 of us are meeting. But let's say, for instance, that you're hitting it out of the park and smooth as can be and woohoo! And because for whatever reason, the mix of kids is easy. And you're like struggling, like, I don't understand, I can't keep up, and I can't get them to sit in class. Now the 3 of us are meeting, and you're bragging about woo, and you're like wanting to cry, but you don't want to lose face in front of your peer.
Okay.
You don't want her to know, because we have pride, right? We have so you don't say anything, and I'm your mentor thinking, well, yeah, woohoo, both of them, right? But it's not the case. But if we met separately, you might actually bare your soul and say, I don't know what to do, because Jose won't stay in his seat, and Brian threw up all over the place, and oh my God. Kindergarten teachers, bless your heart. And I have induction too, so they're a little bit different breed than y'all. That's, again, Chachilla for everybody. In that y'all, I'm looking at you, and you're not 25. I'm sorry, I kind of get that. And it's not, or 23, and you're not fresh out of college for the most part. Oh, you said 25 right there.
Right.
You're not 23, fresh out of college, first career. Now imagine if I have an athlete, right? Do they work usually when they're in school? They're on a full ride scholarship? So there's a good chance that I have a D1 athlete who's never had anything more than a very part-time job during the summer when they were 17 years old. And now we throw them in at Washington, full-time career, first day on the job. Right? That's who I work with in induction. Here y'all have experience. You've done something else. You've worked. But still, you're excited about being here. Kindergarten teachers, I love you. You come in your prettiest dress on Monday. Woo-hoo. And then you discover one thing about kindergartens. You're going to see more body fluid than doctors will this year. Here's my tooth. What's that coming out of your nose, honey? Oh, what did you do to your head? Oh, you went to the bathroom in your shorts again? And you want to give me a hug? I don't think so. And the dress comes off and the jeans come on and they do all the raggedy t-shirt, we get it. We know. It's all right. Kindergarten, I don't know who works harder. Kindergarten teachers or junior high teachers? Whew. Man, I'm glad I don't have either of those jobs. All right, we've gone visited too much. Interns, read about interns and then we'll talk about it.
Just a really quick question about the hour per week. Does it have to be like 1 hour all at once, or can you break it up?
Technically, the answer is yes, but there's a caveat. So I would like to say yes, but. Knowing that you're human, and we're all pretty much the same, when we sit down to have a meeting, what do we do the first 10 minutes? We visit. That's totally natural. I expect that. I built that into the program. I want you to trust your mentor, and you do that by getting to know them. Well, if you have 2 meetings a week, what are you going to do for the first 10 minutes in both meetings? You're going to visit. So now we're talking 20, 25 minutes out of that hour in which you're just kind of visiting.
Yeah.
So I would really stress 1 hour, get the visiting out of the way, and then get to, because you might have some real issues that you wanted to deal with. Like, I don't know how to put the webs into WebGrader. Show me how to do it. Aries. How do you get a sub again? Or ASOP what? Where's the website? I don't know. What code do I use? How do I do this? This paperwork, right? There's a lot of questions that you're going to have, and I would rather that you met 1 hour at a time. But it's impossible to work around. But that's like plan D. Interns, y'all are a different breed, so look at it carefully. And I may have not quite given you all the information, but I'll explain. C, but I think it's S. Right? S. Right? S-E-T.
I just think it's
Subject, exam,
C and then a set, not a S set.
There's one S.
single subject,
Oh, single subject.
and multiple subject, right?
That's
Oh, there's
parentheses.
just one S though. It's just
It looks like a C.
Since we're hiring PCTS, right? So we don't have to worry about the subject corresponding.
All right, so how do you become an intern?
To pass all the tests.
You have to pass all your tests, all your subject matter tests, and that hasn't changed yet. So if you're an intern, you'll have to pass your CSETs or MSETs, right? All right, what else? Who issues the credential?
Is it C?
No.
Or the school district?
No.
The CTC?
School district issues these two.
CTC.
The university
Oh,
issues this one. In cooperation with the hiring district. So, to be an intern, You have to be enrolled in a credentialing program, and each of them have different requirements to ask how much progress you've made before they allow you to become an intern. And then in cooperation with the hiring district, so you have to have a job, the university issues you a credential to teach. How long is it good for?
Can
2 years. Unless you're sped, and then it's 3 years. And I told you that 1 year's lifetime period done in a discussion. Under extenuating circumstances, we can add a year to each of these two credentials.
So 3 years from when you get your job, or 3 years when you start your credential program?
When you start your job internship. So theoretically, a SPED teacher could be a PIP, a STIP, and an intern for 3 years before they ever even reach preliminary credential. That's 5. And, oh, there's an extenuating circumstance, possibly 6. And then you become a preliminary teacher. Okay. What else? What about mentors? And it's in plural. That's correct. One from the district and one from the Institute of Higher Learning at the university. How many hours a week is that?
2.
That's 2. There's more. That's one of those commercials. But there's more. What else do you have to do to hold on to this credential? You have to stay enrolled at the university. What if you say, I can't do it, I give up, I quit. It's February, and you said, I'm dropping out, I can't afford it, it's done, I'm done, I'll just do it next year. What happens? President Pacific calls the district and says, I'm sorry, so-and-so has withdrawn, and so we are now pulling their credential. It's a university issued credential, and you're not at the university anymore. No more credential. Now, if you have not been a PIP or a STIP, we can put you in that particular category until you get back into the university. So it's not, it may not be, what if you've already exhausted those 2 credentials? The incorrect word is your SOL, right? Somebody out of luck? Really? Okay, so you have to stay enrolled. Mr. Thornton, has anyone ever, dropped? Yep. What do we do? Well, in one case, we made them a long-term sub in their own class. What happens if we make you a long-term sub in your own class? See goodbye benefits, buy retirement. Do you get paid if there's a holiday and you're a substitute? No. And do you get paid the same as a teacher? No. You guys are making like, what, $250 a day as a teacher? $250, $300 a day? Depends on where you are on the salary scale. Somewhere around in there. What does a sub get?
125.
Yeah, it's 125.
No, you're like half. We'll cut your salary in half, and we're not going to pay you on Lincoln's birthday, Washington's birthday, and Easter break. Forget about it. That means your check's going down even further. And Lord help you if you get sick. There's no benefits. You're supposed to be, according to federal law, if you're a substitute teacher, you get to pay for your own health insurance. I don't know who can afford to pay for health insurance on making $100 a day, but okay. That's barely anymore in California, just above minimum wage.
Yeah.
If it's, well, minimum wage is going to be 15 an hour. Right now it's 10. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, it's minimum wage if you work 40 hours a week is $400 a week. The sub's going to make $600 a week. I did the math right. 525, excuse me. Right? 525. Yeah. Okay. There's more. Sorry. How many hours of professional development do you have to have?
45.
That's for EL.
Oh, 144.
144 hours of PD. There's the great thing. It's a cooperation between the university and the district. Now, at FPU, they're going to strictly watch this. I know they're going to make you document all of this. Fresno State or Fresno State? National. Oh, good Lord, you're paying all kind of money.
Oh, yeah.
Tell National, though, we will pick your mentor. You're not to go pick your mentor. We will pick it for you. And that's been a bone of confusion at National. They were telling our teachers to go find a mentor.
That's what they told us.
I do not want you to do that. I will pick one for you.
Okay.
And I will pay them more. They're paying them $600. I'm going to pay them $2,000.
Oh, wow, okay.
Okay, for the year. All right, $200 a month, 10 months. Intern. Going to be, I thought, pick. Any other? Just these two interns? I thought there was a third. Oh, I stopped you two. Sit down together. Yeah, National. Woo, $30,000 in debt when you're done. Okay. 144 hours, that's in cooperation between National and us. That includes your class time. Okay? And you have to have 40 hours of what?
45 of
I'm sorry, 45?
the English honors.
Okay. And I have a seminar coming up.
I was just gonna say, I don't know what is the class?
CLAD is your ability to teach cross-cultural and cross-linguistic in the classroom.
Do we get that in our curriculum?
It's embedded in your curriculum.
Okay, so we have that for what we should.
Yes. Every one of you that's in a California credentialing program will get EL authorization as part of your credential. HIPS and STIPS. You have been, by the power of the governor of the state of California, been qualified as an EL teacher. Congratulations. You have all those skills to work with, right? I kid you not. I was just like y'all. I have sat in your seat. Well, they call it an emergency credential, and I was teaching at Madera High School, and they said, we'll let you teach history, reading intervention, and ELD history, ELD history. I don't hobla, but okay. I went to Planada, and I was teaching there, and the girls would kept saying to me, Mr. T, they said a bad word. Well, what was the word? We can't tell you it's a bad word. All right. A little later on, Mr. T, he said a bad word. Oh, you mean this word, the pinching word? Yeah, that's it. Oh, okay. What does it mean? We can't tell you it's a bad word. Ay, ay, ay. So I know all of these bad words. I have no idea what they mean. Right? And funny story, I'm trying to relate to my students, which I'm going to talk to you about a little later. And first day of class, and American Idol is still on, right? And so, you know, Randy, the bass player, right?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, dog? He talks to everybody like that, right? So I'm trying to relate to my kids, and I'm learning now we should use academic vocabulary as much as possible, but I love slinging the slang. I just do. Can you dig it, right? Y'all are tired. So they're walking in. Hey, what's up, dog? Now I try it in Spanish. Hey, ¿qué pasó, perro? What'd you say, Mr. T? Apparently, it does not translate as well into Spanish as it does in English. And it literally means, what up, bitch? Oops. I'm teaching ELD. I don't know anything. I'm just like y'all. I got EL authorization, but I don't know what to do with it. And so I'm doing my best, and we're teaching, and a new girl comes to class, not a word in English. Her name's Maria. And she sits next to Jose. And I said, okay, everybody, make sure that you make Maria feel welcome. She's new to our class. And I didn't get into all the details, but I knew she was like right off the bus and here in our class and not a word of English and newcomer by every definition. And so Jose, he's really smart. And he's watched television and he's seen the Bud Light commercials. And he turns to Maria and he goes, "What's up?" Maria's eyes got about that big around. Of course, she's EL. She's not going to say a word. Sitting there. Well, Jose's kind of an impulsive guy. He does it again. "What's up?" Jose, yes. Maria's here, brand new. I don't think she's seen the Bud Light commercial, and I'm pretty certain she doesn't speak English. Oh! ¿Qué pasó? Welcome to ELD. All right, so you have to have these hours.
So you said that there's like a seminar or something coming, like, will you guys email us when they're?
Yep, I'll get there. I promise. 2 hours a week of mentoring. One from the university and one from the district. It's a credential requirement. And you may also have a master teacher that's not your mentor that's going to come and observe you and check things out and give you feedback on your teaching. Now, that's another meeting that you might have. But here's what we know about some of our interns. Again, they're going to class full-time. They're learning a job, and they are on the job full-time in SPED, bless your heart. There's a lot to learn. I mean, a lot. Okay? And now we are required by your credential to meet 2 hours a week with 2 different mentors. And you have training that you have to go to that's part of your credential requirement. And some of you are coaching, or you have extracurricular, you're the class advisor, you're academic decathlon, you're the choir director, you're teaching band, or what have you. You're taking on these extra assignments. Part of it is because, hey, I'm a brand new and I need the money, and this is an opportunity and no one else wanted to do it. And so you take that on, and I'm looking around the room, and you're not 23 just starting in life. You have a family, and you may have little ones at home, and your life is blown up. Right? I know that. I know it. I want you to understand, you two, I understand that the amount of pressure that you're going to be put under this year, it's enormous. Okay? I would advise every one of you to really consider not taking on those extra assignments, especially our interns. Please don't think that if I don't take on these extra assignments, they're not going to hire me back next year. That's not how it works. We hired you to be teachers. If you happen to coach, great. But that's not why we hired you. We hired you to be teachers. Focus on that. Because you have a lot to learn. There's a big learning curve ahead of you. Okay? We're going to help you as much as we can. But please, say no. It won't hurt anybody's feelings. They're just looking for somebody that will finally say yes. All right. We need you that are pips and stips to think about, how can I get to internship? Right? Kind of have 2 years to figure it out. Do you want to wait that long? Did you know that all of you are temporary teachers based on your credential? We will not, in Madera Unified, make you a permanent teacher until you become a preliminary credentialed teacher. Okay? So there's some bad news. You're going to get a pink slip in March, or maybe even February. It's just part of the standard operating procedure. That's what we have to do based on Ed Code. It states, if there is a possibility that we are not going to retain you, possibility, however small that possibility is, we must notify you by March 15th. That's the dead date. Okay? So every year I get to March 16th and whew, another job for next year. Right? And same with you. But you're going to get one. And it's going to feel horrible. I promise it's going to feel horrible. Because you're going to read it and say, thank you for your service, your contract is up. And there's no assurance on paper that you're coming back next year. Please don't take that personally. I'm warning you right now. It's going to feel personal. Don't take it personal. Talk to your administrator, and they will tell you, yes, we intend to have you back. Our plans are to have you back. Or they're going to say something along those lines. And we have already got you in the master schedule, or something is along those lines. But they can't promise you legally that you have a job next year. But I've never known in this district for someone to have been reached out by an administrator who says, yeah, we have a position for you, we're expecting you back, and then not bring you back, unless there was something that you did. Okay? know that's coming and know that's just kind of the way it is with a temporary contract. Sorry to tell you that, but I need you to know that, right? It'd be awful if you didn't know and you got that pink slip, right? What the heck is this? I just bought a house. All right. Y'all took U.S. history in college. That was a requirement of your undergraduate work, right?
Yeah.
Once you passed the high school, you passed the U.S. Constitution. That's why they need your transcripts. All right. If you were educated out of state, that might be an issue. You might have to take a U.S. Constitution test, but that's very rare. But it is written in the requirements. Valid for 2 years, cannot be renewed unless you're sped. It's 3 years, and there is extenuating circumstances to extend it 1 more year. Okay. Expectations of pre-credentialed teachers. This is a condition of your credential. Failure to satisfactorily participate may result, now not will, but may result in the revocation of your credential. Read an hour a week, journals, and satisfactory progress toward an intern or preliminary credential. Conduct a minimum of 4 observations throughout the year. 1 must see to see great classroom management. So I'll explain these two. You asked about that. How do we monitor your progress? And in a moment I'm going to show you a journal. And on that journal is how we track your progress. Because you're going to tell us. Okay? And we're going to take your word for it. We're not going to go digging through a whole bunch of stuff. There's too many of you in the first place. Let's, be real. But we're going to look for that on your journal. How are you making progress? Okay? And part of your individual plan for progression will include you observing 4 teachers this year. And I'll explain how to do that in just a moment. Okay, so we have 2 layers of support for you. The first is in a classroom. And on your journal, in your for your teachers, does that include a journal in your packet? I think it did. Did I?
What color would it be?
Nope, I didn't. On your individual pathway, would you get that out for us, please? I'll show you the journal on the screen. So you all have an individual pathway plan, IPP. It's worse than the Army, right? All these acronyms. Okay. And here is where you're going to tell us who you are and what you're about. I'm going to add, this is a sample. I'm going so fast, I'm sorry. I'm going to send you an invitation to join my Google Classroom for the PICS program. In it will be this document. This is a sample. Among other things, on the second page, I'm going to add one more thing. Are you coaching or involved in any extracurricular things? And you're going to tell me, yes, I am the varsity volleyball head coach. And I'm going to go, oh, Lord, you're in trouble. And I know I have a pick who's a volleyball coach at South High School. So, we want to know all that. And you can see, how are you doing on your CSETs? How are you doing on your TPAs? SPED, you don't have TPAs. You're exempt from those. Okay? And that means that you're an intern. So if you're not an intern, you haven't done the teacher performance assessment. Okay? Have you taken the RECA yet? If you're an intern, at some point you will take that and you're going to come back to this document and you'll click it and say, yep, I'm done. And MET EL authorization, if you're in a credentialing program in the state of California, that's automatic, so you don't have to worry about that. But I do have some that are coming from out of state. I met one this morning, and he has to go take a test to show that he can teach EL learners. All right, second page. Page 2. Does anyone know who Paul Harvey is? Page 2. No one else. Paul who? Paul Harvey. All right, and so you're going to be observed by your mentor 2 times in the fall and 2 times in the spring. So then they come and check you out and give you some feedback, and probably related to what you already have been talking about in your meetings. But you are also going to observe 4 teachers. And we're encouraging you to take a half a day, because you can't take less than that, and go see 2 teachers at once. And your first observation must be on classroom management. We know classroom management is going to be the toughest thing you're going to handle all year. Okay? And I know, just from experience, that you're not going to manage your classroom based on teachers that you had or your educational experience. You're going to manage your classroom the way you were raised by your parents. Think about your mom for a moment. Mom asks you to do something, wash the dishes, and you're 13 and kind of full of yourself, and you're going to decide when those dishes get done because you're 13. You know, that's how you roll. How does mom get you to do the dishes? Was your mom really strict and you were like one of those, oh, heck no, I got to get up and get those dishes done right now, right now, right now? Or were you one that kind of knew, I could put it off? I did. Mom said, go do dishes. Okay, Mom. And I sit there. Steve, I asked you to do the dishes. Yeah, Mom, in a minute. I'll get there. This is before DVRs, right? In a commercial. When the show's over. My kids try that on me now. Pause, record, go ahead. Finally, I know when she's meaning business because she says my middle name. Stephen Ross, if I have to ask you, what? And we call that what? That the 3-letter word that moms are real good at. 3-letter word starts with N. Nag. Come on, y'all. I bet you do it at home. Nag. Guess what you're going to do in the classroom? Nag. How was that working, by the way, for your mom when you were 13 years old? Frustration on both ends? Uh-huh. Guess what's going to happen in the classroom when you try that same strategy? Frustration on both ends. I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. I'm going to get you out of here on time. But nagging doesn't work. But you're going to manage your classroom the way you were raised. Or, better yet, how many of you are parents? The way you parent is the way you're going to run your classroom. We find that parents have a little deeper insight onto how to manage a classroom than non-parents. Sorry, I'm not trying to disparage those that are childless. I'm just telling you the facts, that there's some experience that being a parent teaches you that not being a parent you can't figure out. For instance, throw-up's not that bad. It's not that bad. Okay, whatever. It happens. When it's somebody else's kid and you've never been around it, ooh, like my dad. Oh. I was driving up to Shaver Lake with my son one time, and he's getting sick, and he's in the back seat. Dad, I'm going to get sick. And there wasn't even a turnout, but I'm pulling over, and I'm pulling, and I'm trying to get the seatbelt on, and I can hear him. And I cover his mouth, it's coming through my fingers. And I'm trying to get the seatbelt off, and he's done. So I had to get him out, cover him up. What are you going to do? We got parenting, right? You've been there, done that, and that's the way it is, and you just kind of roll with the punches. You will discipline your classroom pretty much the same way you parent. Okay? We're going to talk about classroom support a lot. And so we're going to use a thing called just-in-time questions. And let's see. And it says every week, I don't mean that. I'm going to take this off. Okay? And so we have a series of questions for your mentors to ask you to talk about. They don't have this document in your thing, but it will be in Google Docs. Okay? And they're going to have some discussion with you that is timely. That's why we mean just in time. So if we, unfortunately, we won't probably be able to have that conversation before back to school night. Because back to school night, you go to school on Monday, and Tuesday night's back to school night. Pretty much, yes? Did you figure that out yet? You got a week. Right? But the 10th. For kindergarten. Before school starts. Before school starts. I'm not going to get your mentor on any time. But we know when IEPs are due, and that's part of our reflective questions. We know progress monitoring has to be reported in SPED, and that's part of our reflective questions. We know that you have to worry about parent-teacher conferences. You've never had one of those before. How do you conduct a parent-teacher conference? If I'm sitting in your shoes going, oh, Lord Almighty, what am I going to do? What does that look like? How do I make that happen? What do I say? I'm nervous. We want that mentor to know that it's coming and to remind you to talk about these things. Because sometimes our mentors take for granted that you know things that you don't know. We've written all these prompts for them to talk to you about what's happening in the classroom. And everything from those little nuances to how do I deliver this reading instruction? How do I do this math lesson? What do I do about science, about art? What do I do about bathroom passes? How do I handle absences? All these things that are going to come at you, we've pasted out, and you'll talk about them, and you'll reflect on that and write some notes, and then at the end of the month, you put it on my journal. I will ask you to write in complete sentences, not because I'm trying to make you go through hoops, but because it helps you think a little deeper to write a complete sentence versus a bullet point. Okay? So you're going to write a complete sentence. This is the only, I take that back. There are two things I'm going to ask of you. The journals, and there are 7 of them. I'm also going to ask you, well, 3 things. To complete the individual pathway plan. That is, by the way, part of your credentialing requirement for all 3 credentials, that you have to state, come up with a plan for progression towards a credential. And I'm going to ask you to sit in a site administration consultation meeting, which should mean all of the new teachers that are at your site meeting together, once with your administration, and they have a whole list of questions that they are going to answer, and it's on that green paper in your folder. They're going to answer those questions, and you're going to write the answers down. You do not have to go try to find the answers. That's not the point of this. It's meant to be an orientation. Okay? I want them to take you on a walk if you're on the campus. So if you've never been on this campus before, we're going to orient you to all the important places, and we're going to start explaining some of the culture of our site and introduce you to the important people. For instance, one of the most important people on your site is your site administrator, admin assistant. They tend to be female. In fact, I do not know of any male admin assistants in Madeira Unified. Now, I'm old school, sorry, and I kind of understand some of the stereotypes, and some of them are true. Not all of them, but some of them are true. So let's imagine for a moment that you, for whatever reason, get on the bad side of your admin assistant. You tick her off. Now, there's probably 2 other admin assistants in there, attendance clerk, right? Another. What do you know, women being women, actually people being people, what are they going to do? Heck yeah.
Can't stand that teacher.
And whose ear is it eventually going to reach? Your site administrative assistant can make your life miserable. Oh. Everybody, this is Jessica Salazar, my administrative assistant, and she's awesome, and she's going home. Okay.
Steve, do we set up that meeting, or is that something?
They're going to set it up for you.
Oh.
Because I don't want it to be one-on-one. And there's a reason for that. I don't want this to become an opportunity for you to share with your administrator, hey, I'm really concerned about, I'm really worried about, I don't know how to. All those questions, go to mentor. I'm not saying you keep it a secret from your administrator because they're, kind of figure it out, but I don't want this to become a pre-evaluation meeting. One-on-one, it could slip into evaluating mode. Administrator, I hadn't thought about that. Makes a mental note, right? Now all of a sudden you're being evaluated. Did they improve on this? Did they figure it out? And that's not what this program's about, right? So, but if they're meeting like this, that's impossible for you to share out, hey, you know what, classroom management's not my thing, I'm really worried about it, got any strategies for me? And I'll ask you into that question.
So even if they touched on it at the new teacher orientation training at South today, there's
Did they go
still
through
gonna
that
be
list?
No, they didn't have a list. It was just part of a lot of the stuff they covered, and we got a tour.
Did you get most of those answers?
I think some of them. we didn't go too much into SSTs, 504s. We didn't go into accommodations. Probably like half of them.
So then you'll probably be enough.
Okay.
But it won't last all day.
Okay.
It'll be an hour.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking of an early hour. All my new teachers, because one of the things we have late hires. Or people that couldn't be here today because they're on vacation or out of town or whatever. We can't require you to be here today. We're asking you to be here, we paid you, but we can't require it. Contract doesn't start until Monday. Okay? All right. You're gonna make notes, what's happening in the classroom, we call that just in time, and then plans for your credentialing requirements comes next. And so I have, now here's where the strategy does come into play. I've asked your mentors to nag you. Have you signed up for your financial aid yet? Do you need some help with it? Are you prepared for your CSET? Do you need some help studying? Let's study together. I want them to be your study buddy, right?
Who are you studying with?
Here, with your mentor.
Yeah.
Yes, not with me, Mike, but your mentor. I have 300 teachers I'm overseeing. I don't know that I can meet with you individually every week. We want them to talk about what class, have you signed up for college? Which ones you looking at? How's that going? What, passed this test yet? Are you going to do that? And we want them on it and talking to you about it and helping you along the way. Because if you don't make progress, we're going to lose you, and we don't want to lose you. We are literally motivated to keep you, especially as we discover that you're incredible. And we think that already. So we want to make sure that we retain you. So they're going to be on you about your credentialing progress. We have one more question on there. What new learning am I applying in my classroom? How is it affecting student outcomes? So interns, you're going to class, you found this, ooh, I'm going to try this. That you talk about on your journal. The rest of you, hey, I went to classroom management, the Madeira Classroom Management Method seminar, and they talked about proximity, and I rearranged my desks, and all of a sudden things went crazy good. And you can tell me how that affected student outcomes, okay? It should take about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Does that sound like a lot? So once we get through those a few initial documents, it's just journals from here on out, okay? Now, let me give you that's the stick, let me give you a carrot. When you become a preliminary credential teacher, you still have to clear your credential. Instead, you'll have a choice. You can go back to the university and continue on, and at Fresno State, they'll give you a master's degree, and you're cleared. But since you didn't go there, I don't know how much. If you're a Fresno State student, it's like 3 or 4 classes. It's really ridiculously easy. I don't know what it is at National, and I don't know what it means to go from National to Fresno State for credential. I don't know. There may be some more fill in the gap kind of classes. I don't know. Okay? But the rest of you that are general education, you have one choice to clear your credential. MIC. There aren't any really. There's one in San Diego, but otherwise their gen ed clears at the university level doesn't exist. They're not making any money, and they've all kind of closed their programs because we're offering it for free. Okay, even for SPED. All right. Now it's a 2-year program. Here's the carrot. If you successfully complete PIC and you have done all your journals like I've asked, we have evidence that you're beginning to grow as a teacher, and we will lock off 1 whole year of induction. And it's called the early completion option. And we reserve that for our experienced and exceptional teachers. For everyone in the county, because I cover the entire county with induction, it's 2 years of experience. Kent and I have agreed, if you have been in our PIC program, 1 year. Provided you have a successful year and you're still a really good teacher. Okay? It requires a satisfactory evaluation. It requires a letter of recommendation from your site administrator. Many of our PICs from last year that are now in NIC are applying for and will probably get the early completion option and finish the credential in 1 year. And once you get your clear, you're good. All you have to do is pay $100 every 5 years, and the credential continues to renew. All right? You want to get to preliminary. And for SPED, it is no longer level 1, level 2, it is preliminary. Yes, you have a question?
Okay, so you know, like when we pass our CSATs, they say you have 5 years to, is that to clear your credential?
Once you get your preliminary, you have 5 years.
Oh, once you get it, okay.
Once you get,
so-
sorry, I said the wrong word.
Okay.
Once you get your preliminary credential, you have 5 years to clear it.
Okay.
So
What
that-
about, like, no, I'm saying for the CSATs, don't those expire or something, or that doesn't matter?
No,
That's just.
you're good. Pass them once, you're good.
Okay,
And that's
So you
part of
have
the
5 years.
credentialing requirement for your preliminary.
okay.
It's passing CSETs and Eureka for you too.
Can I ask you one question?
There are no dumb questions.
Let's see. What's a TPA?
Teacher Performance Assessment. That's a great question. General ed teachers have to pass 4 of them. And that includes putting a portfolio together that looks at the demographics of the school, that looks at the individual needs of your class setting, of understanding poverty, language, SPED, all of that, creating a lesson plan, giving a pre-assessment, giving a series of lessons, giving a post-assessment, making adjustments along the way, writing all that up. That's what a TPA is.
So, through our classes at National, we had TPs, but it said, like, just to prepare yourself for it. So now, is this Madera's, like, they don't require it, or this is like critical primary credential does not require it? First, so why is it?
You took a pre-TA TPA class.
No, it's like, so every class we took, it's all online, so it tells you, to get ready for your TPAs, this is what you need to do, just so you know, like, what to do. So it said, so we knew what TPAs were from the very beginning of our program. So I was under the impression that we had to do TPAs, but you're saying we do not.
Now, maybe National thinks that you do, and that's what they want you to do, and that's their choice, but the SPED credential does not require TPAs.
Was it maybe the courses that were required of both SPED and?
As far as I know, I didn't take any courses that were not dual, they're all just sped classes.
Maybe some of our instructors, it's taught those.
Okay. That's the journal. We're going to have one due in August, one in September, one in October, one in November. December, January is combined. February, March, and we're done. That's 7. Okay? That's all I want. So 7 months. You get into April and you're kind of doing some other things and wrapping up class. You're still meeting with your mentor, but I'm not going to ask you to continue to journal. Part of it is you're if you're 3rd grade to 11th grade, you're now involved in state testing. If you're at the high school level, you might have AP tests and other tests that are going on. So it gets crazy. Honestly, if you haven't been through it, once spring break is over, it's over. It's crazy. Kids quit, you're going to quit. I don't want you to. I'm just telling you that mentally you're like, oh, I'm so done. Okay. Let me back up for a moment. Explain that one. Your mentor is going to fill out a log. You do have a sample of that? Yes. It's on the teach pink paper.
This is all gonna be on the Google Docs, right?
This one, no. And I'll tell you why. This one is only filled out by your mentor, but I wanted to show it to you because you're required to sign it. Oh God, if I didn't put that journal in there after all. It's on the back side of that. I know, man. I'm tired.
But the journal submitted on Google Docs?
The
or-
journal is Google Doc. The mentor log, the collaboration log is for your mentor to fill out, but you're going to sign it, and I would like for you to get a photocopy of it, keep it for your own records. Okay? Interns, you have to track your hours. I don't know if National's going to ask you or if they're going to assume. But at Fresno Pacific, oh heck yeah, they got to cross the T and dot the I on everything. And they're going to ask for a log of hours. Okay? So that is your record of meeting with your mentor and having those hours done. Yes?
How do you log observations, or is that a different
On your journal.
on the journal as well?
So if you had an observation, you'll put it here. You know what, I think what I'm going to do, I'll add one more box. That's a good one. I think I'm going to add one more box. I did it. That's a good question. And it's missing. I need to add that.
And the journal entries are based when you meet with your mentor once a week? Okay, Okay, so like month would be like 4 or 5 entries then?
I want you to keep notes while you're meeting with your mentor.
Okay.
Or you can grab this document and open up and type on it
Okay.
and then close it. But you wouldn't say 4 entries, but there'll be a list of things that you're doing and you'll submit it once.
Okay.
at the end of the month.
Can you like use like an actual journal and write in there and stuff?
No. You can do that for keeping your own notes, yes. But I need it on this Google Doc because we're hiring somebody to read your journals and give you feedback. Okay? And the only way we can really give you that feedback in a timely fashion is with the Google Doc. Because you actually submit it and they can write comments right directly on that document and you'll see it in real time. In fact, we've even had where we were doing a group read and somebody sent it out and said, hey, I need this fixed. Boom, and before they could finish grading it, they saw that student come up and start typing. It's kind of weird, like ghostwriting it almost. Have you ever seen that Google Doc right here?
Yeah.
Whoa! What the heck? So yeah, so all right. Mentor log, reflective conversations. If you need to explain that. Journal. All right. Now I want to talk to you about your first week in planning and teaching and some classroom management stuff. Okay. So you do have some dates on one seminar that I want to highly, highly, highly recommend. It is called the Madeira Classroom Management Method. And the first date on there should be September 18th, which is a Monday. There are 10 sessions. That's correct. They're 2 hours long. If you're interested in earning more units, there is a class that goes with it in which you experiment with the things that we're teaching you in your classroom, and there's some write-ups that you do with it and some data analysis that goes with it. It'll total about 60 hours. It's all not required, but it's an option for you. You can see that we start in September and finish in April, so we've really spread this out, and I have 50 seats. So we'll throw out an email announcing that we are taking enrollment for this now, and we have 50 seats, okay? And I can't encourage you enough to come to that. You can earn 4 units from this class from the University of San Diego for a cost of $300. That's $75 a unit. That's cheap. National, you're paying like $600 a unit, right? Okay? We're looking at $200, $300, $400 a unit in Fresno State, Fresno Pacific. Is that about right? $400, something like that? $375 per unit.
Fresno Pacific is what?
Just depends.
610.
$610 per unit.
Fresno Pacific.
That's the same as national. That's ridiculous. Maybe you got the discounted price because you flashed your eyes and it.
Well, in the summer it was $530, and they just in fall it was $600. Yeah.
Graduate units are much more expensive than academic courses.
It counts.
How much
I
is
guess
it?
it just counts for extra units. Like,
How much is the whole class? So, 1 unit or 3 units? Sorry, I don't know.
These, so this is something that we can use for professional development? Is that
Yes.
what you're saying? Okay, and you go to all of them? Or pick which
Yes,
one?
well, each of them builds on the next. So it's not a one-off, come to this one and you're good to go.
Okay.
We're gonna teach you a little bit, coach you up, observe you, come back, discuss, hey, this worked, this didn't, how do I make it better? And then move forward. So each layer's on the other. And we're gonna make you do some goofy things in here. It's gonna be like a lab. And I don't even wanna get into it, but it'll be fun. We'll laugh.
If you have to miss the first one, are you still able to go to the rest?
Yes. We're gonna videotape it and have some paperwork that goes with it, so you can check out the video and answer those questions. And yeah, but if you want the units, you can only miss one class.
Would it be at this location right here?
Right here in this room. We're going to take the tables down and put up 50 chairs and go for it. So it'll be crowded. It might even be warm, but we'll see how it goes. 50 is all I have capacity for because I still have to train my PIC mentors and my NIC mentors, and that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I average about 12 nights a month in this room until 7 o'clock like today. That's just the way it is, and I accept that. I get Friday nights off and occasional Mondays. Otherwise, we're here, it seems like, around the clock. So I don't have an ability to add another Madera Classroom Management Method class just because there aren't any more nights. You all want to come on Friday night? No. We need it, right? I could. Okay. Now let's talk about your first week of classroom management. Let me give you some tips. All right. About 70% of your classroom management can be handled with two strategies. One's complicated and one's simple. The first one that's simple is proximity. We want you to exploit proximity. So I need you to go back to your classroom, if you're going into your classroom tomorrow or next week, and check it out and see, can I easily walk around this room? Are the desks pushed up against the back wall? Move them back. Because you want to be able to walk the room as quickly as possible. Well, I'll even tell you that there's different zones. So if I stand over here and I'm doing my direct instruction, this we call the red zone. Notice how their body language changed, her head perked up, got the pen out. If they had a cell phone, it went away, because like I'm right here, right? But y'all are in the green zone. He's not paying attention to us. Cell phones come out, pins go down, talking starts. So if I can walk in just a few steps as I'm teaching from one side of the room to the other, I am using proximity to manage the classroom by my physical presence. I don't have to say a thing. Right? So, tell me your name again.
Syrium. Syrium?
Syrium. Did I say it right? So let's pretend that Syrium is goofing around, because Syrium, you know, that's what she does. And I'm teaching the class. By the way, I don't think Syrium ever goofed around. Look at that Syrium's face, right? So Syrium is goofing around, and I continue to teach, but I just stand right here. Does Syrium know why I'm here?
She knows.
Oh, she knows. Now, Syrium's a good kid. Heck yeah, she's getting right back to work. Problem solved. I might even say, and walk away. But let's imagine that Syrium is 12, 13, and she kind of has, or she's a freshman, who's my freshman English teacher, has a little attitude. What? I'm not doing anything. You've heard that before, or you will. I'm going to teach you to have a calm expression. Did you know, by the way, that children are the best crap detectors on the face of the planet? That they can read your body language better than you can. I don't know what it is about adults, but we've kind of lost that ability. But a kid knows when you're messing around and when you're serious, and they can just read you and know what they can get away with. Syriam's like right here, and she's goofing around, and I'm standing here. I'm going to teach you how to be calm, to be neither happy nor mad. We're going to pretend how to do that in our lab, and we're going to just stand here. And she's going to say, "What? I wasn't doing anything. If you teach this class well, I wouldn't have to ask her for help." She's doing what we call back talk, right? And I will teach you, it's not Syriam's back talk that's going to get her sent to the office. It's the teacher's. Remember what I told you about your strategies as a parent? What do you do at home? You nag. So let's imagine I didn't use proximity, and I'm direct instructing from the front of the room, and Syriam's goofing off, and so I say, "Syriam, what? Knock it off." And then she says, "Well, I wasn't doing anything." "Syriam, you were talking, and I need you to stop." "Syriam, if I have to come over there again, I'm going to have to discipline you." "Syriam, please, knock. That's enough." What's happening to the rest of the class?
You're getting off task.
Heck yeah, I'm distracted as a teacher, right? Second thing that's happening is your dinosaur part of your body is reacting. Your fight-flight reflex is kicking in. Syriam is interrupting you. It's kind of bugging you. And so your body automatically says, "Hey, you need to get ready for a fight or a flight. What are you going to do? What happens when that happens biologically? Your eyes dilate, your pulse goes up, your muscles constrict. You're going to go home, by the way, and the muscles right here in your neck are going to be sore. And you're going to, what the heck? Why am I don't get it. Because you've been tense all day. The Syrian just won't stop talking. Syrian? And so as I enter this fight-flight reflex, something in my brain shifts from my neocortex to my brainstem, where I think logically to where I react. Here's some evidence. Have you ever been in an argument with somebody that you really cared about, your wife, your husband, and you 2 hours later go, man, I wish I would have said.
Yeah.
Or you're in a job interview and you walk away, oh, I forgot to tell them. Why did your brain lock up? Ever heard somebody on the radio, they call in and they're like, oh, blah, 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 right? Because they're not used to it. Their brain locked. Their fight, flight, reflex kicked in. Now I want to deal with Syrium in a logical manner and I can't. So I revert back to what I know. I'm going to nag. I might even say something I have to apologize for. Right? Have you done that? Come on, in an argument with, I've had to apologize to, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. That was wrong of me. What's worse is when I said it to my daughter, 6 years old. But Daddy, you said, I know, I was upset. I shouldn't have said it. But in tears, I shouldn't have said it. Daddy, you I'm sorry, honey. I wish I could take it back. I didn't mean it. But Daddy, because the 6-year-old, right? They're once those words are out, can you take them back? Well, how do you prevent that in the first place? So Syrian is goofing off. I'm going to teach you, and if you can do it, calm. I'm neither mad nor happy. She can't read me. She might even say a few more things, but eventually she understands, what's the use? It's not getting me anywhere. Might as well get back to work. 60-70% of the time, good kids like Syrian, she realize, uh-oh, I stepped over the line, and that's the end of that. Okay? And if it doesn't stop, I can move in, and I can use proximity. Now she understands I'm really here to make sure she's being quiet. What if she continues to backtalk me? If I open my mouth and say something to her, fight, flight kicks in, and I just started an argument. Because is a kid going to lose face? I don't care how old they are. Are they going to lose face in front of their friends? No. In junior high, I come over, Syrian, that's enough. What does the rest of class do? Ooh. That's what they do if you haven't been there. Ooh. And everybody's looking. Okay, but if I keep teaching and I sit here, and now I might even give her a non-verbal cue. She knows what I'm telling her. Now she has to decide, do I kick this up to the next gear or do I just fold? I've had enough. Most kids fold. So I'm telling you, 70%, 80% of the time, boom, done. Proximity. So you've got to make sure your room is set up right to make sure that you can walk the room, and you should never, ever, ever, ever be behind your desk during the instructional period of your day. Recess, lunch, after school, okay. But administrators shouldn't walk in and find you behind your desk. You should be up with the kids, monitoring. Now, let's say that Syrium's not in trouble, but I just walk by. What am I doing now? I'm checking for understanding. Oh, great job. Hey, don't forget to, right? And I walk away. And we'll teach you more, but I can tell you that just setting up your room and using proximity will really, really help in the classroom situation. Okay? The other issue is lesson planning. You have to engage it. Does that mean that you're a performer, an actor, an entertainer? Yep. You want to have that genuine relationship with the student, and that's a whole other level, and I don't have time to explain it all tonight, but your lessons need to be engaging. And I will tell you that every student in the district can learn. They may learn at different paces, but they're all learners. And you're going to figure out which ones struggle and which ones don't, but they're all learners. However, in Madera Unified, 85–90% of our students are Hispanic, 40 of those are EL learners. The statistics for the county, for the state, for the nation say this: students of color perform at a less rigorous rate than white or Asian students. And they call that an achievement gap. And if you haven't read about it in the newspaper, you will hear about it in your credentialing classes. Am I right? It's called the achievement gap. I heard somebody say, my heart is for these kids. I was one of these kids. I want to go back and make sure that these kids have it easier than I have. That was your motivation for being a teacher. Please don't have fun Friday afternoons. Please, secondary teachers, don't say, okay, we have 7 minutes left, go ahead and study for your next class, or do the homework that I assigned. There's no such thing as free time, because your students, by definition, are behind. They have more challenges to overcome. That doesn't mean that they can't. It just means that I'm just telling you, there's some challenges in front of you. I think poverty is the #1 issue. I think the number is 80% of our students are below the poverty level in Madera Unified. 80%. Did you know that every student in Madera Unified gets a free breakfast and lunch? Because there's so many of them, we don't even have to worry about if you got money and you don't. Everybody gets a free lunch. It's like Oprah. That's a serious issue. You remember, and so you need lesson plans that go bell to bell. But you understand something, and I hope I'll leave you with this little kernel of wisdom. The kids in your class probably were not raised the way you were. And so if you expect a behavior, it has to be taught. I want you to think about rules and routines. I would be willing to bet that if we asked you to write your rules down right now, you probably have 5 or 6 rules. And they all center around the theme of respect. And in credentialing classes, they'll tell you never say don't, always do. Treat your teacher with respect. That's probably rule #1. Teach your classmates with respect. Treat your classroom with respect and the property, right? Leave other people's stuff alone, and that's respect. You get 5 rules of respect. Okay. But you're going to have 100 procedures. Start thinking about them now. And ask, when you mix with the veteran teachers next week, hey, what are your summer procedures about this? And think of some topics to ask. So, here's the first one, bathroom. What is your procedure going to be for bathrooms? Are you going to have a coupon? You get 3 coupons per quarter, and when you use them up, that's the end of that, and after that I have to take away, but if you have extra, I'll give you extra credit points, that's it, right? My procedure at high school was, you may go to the bathroom when you need to go to the bathroom, provided it's not the first or last 15 minutes of class, or while I'm giving direct instruction. If I'm talking, it must be important, so I need you to listen. First 15, last 15, I think you can hold it for 15 minutes, right? When my 2-year-old was 2, she could go all night long, 10 hours, without going to the bathroom. Can you not go 15 minutes? That was my procedure. It may or may not work for you, but you need a procedure. How does a student ask to go to the bathroom? What do they do to get there? And can you really deny a kid a trip to the bathroom? No. Again, high school teacher, 15-year-old girl in my class, I need to go to the bathroom, Mr. T. Really? Yeah, it's my, don't even say it, just go. I don't even want to know. You know what we've had, not in Madera Unified, but I've read about cases where a teacher said no, kid went with pants in class. There's a lawsuit. Okay? What kind of credential do you have? I'm sorry, contract do you have with Madera Unified? Permanent, temporary, probationary?
Temporary.
Temporary. We get a lawsuit because you did this, what's going to happen? I mean, you can't deny a kid going to the bathroom, but you can have a procedure. What about pencil sharpening? Okay? In your class, in the 9th grade, English teacher has the star sprinter. He can run the 100-meter dash in like a crazy amount of time, 5 seconds or whatever it is. Right? So here's our sprinter, class athlete, going to be a D1 scholarship at Stanford or wherever because he's fast. But how does he sharpen his pencil? And by the way, he's got terrible penmanship. He's kind of sloppy with his work. But when it comes to pencil sharpening, all of a sudden he's a NASA engineer. All right, is that a distraction? Yes. This is a distraction, the noise, the walking in the class, all that's a distraction. It's distracting to you, it's also distracting to your students. Do you have a procedure for that? Some play trade. All right, your pencil's broken, here's a good one. Some say bring mechanical pencils. Some say here's 3 pencils, or they say bring 3 pencils, or they say borrow one from your friend, or whatever it is. Talk to your colleagues. But you need a procedure for that. Okay? Kids absent. Please don't ever say this. What did I miss in class today, Mr. G? Oh, it was nothing. Don't worry about it. Did I really just spend a whole hour of 3rd period yesterday doing nothing? If I did, woe is me. My students are behind. There's an achievement gap and I did nothing? Oh, heck no. There's something, right? But what are you going to do? How do you get this information to the student? What do you expect them to do? Is there makeup work? Is there handout? Is there a page in the book? Is there a place in the classroom where they can grab the makeup work real quick and then they fill it out and they put it in the completed folder? What are you going to do? How do they make up missed work? How do you transition elementary from ELA from 8 to 9:30 to math at 9:35? And how long should that transition take? About 90 seconds. I've been in classes where I watched 9 minutes. Okay, class, I told you already. Come on, come on, come on. Did that teacher mean business? So what happened to all that instructional minutes? How many transitions is the elementary teacher going to make? ELA, math, science, history, art, PE. That's 6. Maybe music. If I'm wasting 10 minutes per transaction, how much time have I just wasted out of this day? That's an hour. Right? How do I make that transition? Hey, single subject teachers, you're still transitioning. All right, class, I'm going to give you some instruction. All right, now I want you to do the worksheet or do the project or move your desks into cooperative learning groups or, right, there's a transition. And because the days of a teacher standing up and doing what I'm doing to you are over. You can't sit here and lecture all day long. It doesn't work. Got about 15 or 20 minutes, maybe 10 probably, and you've lost their attention. So input, get them to do something. Output. Input, get them to do something. Output. The bop till you drop as a teacher is over. And I don't know, old school, maybe that was where your teachers did it. Not your teacher, right? Cooperative learning, all kind of activities going on. That's the difference. Huge difference. Okay? What's your procedure for transitions? What's your procedure for lining up for recess? What's your procedure for setting up the chairs for the next day? What's your procedure for collecting the garbage? What's your procedure for passing in work? What's your procedure for getting out a math book? What's your procedure for backpacks? What is your procedure for jackets? I know we don't think about jackets in August, but it's coming. Where do you want them? How are they supposed to be hung up? What is your procedure for snacks? What is your procedure for bringing a sack lunch? Where does it go? You see what I mean here?
Those little things that can take up time.
Heck yeah. The more procedures you have, and you have to practice them, the smoother your class will go. It's going to cost you some time at the beginning of the year. It's going to cost you some academic time. But if you nail them, you'll gain way more minutes than you lost throughout the year. And you can, how many of you substituted before? You walk into a class and it's a disaster. Oh, Lord. Or you walk into a class where it's like somebody hit remote control, these kids know exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it. It's not the kids, it's the teacher that did that. So you have all these procedures that you need to do. The next thing is, any behavior that you want to hold your kid accountable for, you have to teach. Okay? So, do you want to ask a question and everybody's hands go up? Do you want it to be like Welcome Back Carter, where they're back, yo, 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 right? No, Epstein, put your hand down. It can't be like that, right? You have a procedure. Maybe you're doing popsicle sticks, random calling, and you want the kids to only respond if you pull their stick. But 3 other kids raise your hand and give the answer before. What are you going to do about that? Hey, in this classroom, and you explain it again, you teach it. We do not blurt out the answer. You wait until your name is called. Right, Brian? You understand me? Okay, good. You correct it. You move on. It's going to take time to get those procedures down. I promise, though, it will save you so much grief in you. Okay? What happens if you have a math assignment that you think is going to take 20 minutes, and I like picking on Brian because Brian's my brother, right? My youngest brother. What does the older kid do to the younger kid, right? I pound on him, right? Brian, I'm sorry, I'm pounding on you again. So Brian gets the assignment done in 10 minutes. Everyone else takes 20 to do the math problems. What's Brian going to do for 10 minutes? 4th grade Brian is going to mess around because that's what Brian's paid to do. Kids want to goof off. Okay? You got to figure that out. A procedure for what do I do with kids who finish the assignment? Do I have an extra assignment? What am I going to do? Please don't just make them tutors. All right, go help this group over here. That's a fallback plan. I understand that you may do that occasionally, but don't make that your default. That's a little think about for a moment your favorite teacher growing up. Favorite teacher. All time, number 1 on your list, favorite teacher. Was that teacher the easiest teacher you ever had that allowed kids to get away with whatever they wanted? No. Well, I don't know what it is about. I was that way. I want to be the cool teacher. I want to be the one everyone likes. Of course you can sit wherever you want to sit. Come on in. I just made 2 mistakes. One, I allowed all the knuckleheads to sit in the back row to get together and kind of conspire against me. That's the first problem. And the second is, I just announced to the class, you're in charge, not me. No. In my class, you sit where I tell you to sit. Please understand, you are the dictator of your room. It is not a democracy. They don't get a vote. You choose where they sit. You choose how your class is going to be conducted. Do not allow a student to dictate the learning environment in your classroom. Okay? So I want you to get a seating chart. Day 1, you have to have a seating chart. Alphabetize it, birthday it, I don't care. You need a seating chart. Boys on one side, girls on the other, I don't know. Whatever you think is best, but there needs to be a seating chart. And you will adjust it. Because you're going to find that when Brian and Jeff sit together, those are 2 of my brothers, so when Brian and Jeff sit together, they goof around, they talk. Right? 2 best girlfriends sitting together with forever. Separate them and it stops. You're going to figure that out. So that seating chart's not permanent. But you need a seating chart day 1.
So would it be a good idea, I don't know, for example, to ask the grade level below you, just ask them about your students before and just you know, ask them how they, what would they learn best at, who they would need to separate from. So would that be a good idea?
If you get the chance. Yes. High school, probably not going to happen. Freshman, you're not going to talk to the junior high teacher, right? But if you get the chance, yeah, absolutely. Any insight that you can get is good. Second thing is I want you to set your classroom up to be a work environment. So again, I'll tell you, man, I want to be the kickback teacher and everything's good. And yeah, you can come in at lunch. Of course you can come in before class. 1 comes in, 2 comes in, 4 comes in. What are 4 kids going to do 10 minutes before class starts while you're getting ready? Mess around. You just made another error. You just stated to them, this is where we come and play. Oh, no, no, no. You come to class early? Here you go. Here's the warm-up. We're going to start in a few minutes. Go ahead and get started. When you come to my class, we work. That's what happens inside this room. You thought about that teacher? Did they have low standards or high standards? Did they think that you could reach the stars academically? Or did they think, oh, heck no, this kid's never going to make it?
They thought we could
Way beyond you. Oh, this is so hard. She's so mean. I got to write what? And you did it. High standards for behavior or low standards? Let you get away with anything or nothing? Right? High standards. I will tell you the biggest communist mistake. Communist is not an English teacher. Can I say communist? The most common mistake that you can make is starting your class off behavior-wise too easy. And then you try to crank it up. It doesn't work that way. You can start off too hard and ease up. But if you start too soft and try to ratchet it up, it is incredibly difficult. You might get a reset after Christmas break when they've had enough time to kind of get away from all your routines and you come back mean and lean. But the harder thing is you become somebody you don't want to be. This strict, by the book, we don't want you to be that. So if you start off with some really good standards and procedures and policies in place, and this is how we do things, and you set those expectations from the beginning, you'll be able to become the teacher that you want, that fits your personality, and a little later on, after Thanksgiving or Christmas, start joking with your kids. Okay? There's a book, I think we talked about it earlier today. What we used to tell teachers, don't smile until Thanksgiving. Why? Scare them. That's what they told Arnold Schwarzenegger in Kindergarten Cop, remember? Yeah. He came home, there, I'm afraid of him. Right? Little kids are running his class. Oh, I got a headache. Maybe it's a tumor. It's not a tumor. What did she tell him, the teacher? Scare him. And he did. And what happened? He put his procedures into place, and he practiced them in that movie. Remember the fire drill? He practiced in class. He had a pretend bell, right? He was practicing. And when the fire drill came, boom, their class was the best one because they practiced it. I know that's fiction, that's a movie, but that part of it is teaching. Okay? So hopefully this will set you up to have a wonderful first week of school. So you get a chance. By the way, you have about, depending on the age, 3 to 5 days of a honeymoon period where they'll sit in your class and not really goof around. What are they doing? They want to know where the boundaries are. Once they figure those out, they're going to bump them. And in fact, they're going to go over the boundaries to find out if you mean what you say you mean. Does the word no mean the same in everybody's house? No, it doesn't. So I'll give you an example. Unfortunately, I went through a divorce. I'm not happy about it. I didn't like it. I am remarried. I'm happy about that. But divorce was ugly for me. And yet, we were peaceful. We didn't even go to court. We just sent our attorneys to take care of it and fun. In fact, we only hired one attorney. We didn't even have opposing counsel. So it was very, as divorces go, it was pretty easy, but I still hated it. I almost vomited when I signed the papers. I promised myself growing up that will never ever be me, and here I was. All right? So I divorced, and my daughter, about 10, figured out that a no in mom's house means you ask the same question 99 more times, and finally she'll say yes. Mom, can I? No. Mom, can I? No. Mom, can I? No. 99th time. Mom, fine. Just fine. Right? And they're mad about it. Ashley thought, hey, this is a pretty good strategy. Comes to my house. Dad, can I? No. But Dad, can I? No. About the 7th time, I kind of caught on. Huh. Ashley, yes, you've asked me the same question 7 times. The answer is no. Right now, you have happy daddy. And the answer is no. In a moment, if you continue to ask the same question, the answer is going to be no, but you're going to have bad dad. What choice do you want to make? But Dad, but. Fine. she understood. When I said no, I meant it. You have to be that firm and consistent in your class. And you have to teach the word no means. Because it doesn't mean the same in everyone's house. Right? I need you to get to work. Okay. Does that mean the same in everyone's house? Were you able to get away with stuff in your home? Take out the garbage? Didn't get done till the next day? And by then mom and dad were mad? Right? Same for you. What are you going to do? You've got to be consistent. I need you to get to work. I'm sorry, I didn't mean tomorrow. I mean right now. I'll also caution you on even your tone of voice. And I didn't understand this. I've come to two realizations. One of them this year, really. I never think of myself as being an intimidating kind of person. I think of myself as being pretty nice and accommodating, and I'll do whatever I can to help you succeed. But I found that my title is intimidating. He's in charge. He's the man. I don't know. Right? I didn't understand. Yours can be intimidating to your students. And I know that going to the principal's office is still a scary thing. Mr. Smith, please come to the office, please. Oh, crap. Would you be willing to come to our dance and help with the organization? Of course, yes, of course. Walk out. What did I just say yes to? We know it. But yours can be intimidating to your students. And I found this out the hard way when I got remarried, and I have this wonderful stepdaughter named Emma, and she's very tender. I didn't understand that. In my house, growing up, we're talking about being raised, I had two parents that yelled. That's the way it was, and I thought that was normal. Come to find out that's not normal. And I understand I can be kind of loud. And so one day, Emma was doing something and I really thought it needed to stop, and I just said her name. Emma! I didn't think I yelled at her. I didn't lecture her. I didn't say anything else. Gone, crying in her bedroom. What the heck did I just do? What do I gotta apologize for? I don't even know what I did. Your body language, your tone of voice can be intimidating. And when you're intimidated, students fight reflex kids can, and they're no longer thinking logically. They may just shut down, right? So let me give you some examples of what I mean by body language. So, what is this one? Not happy with whatever's going on, right? Yeah. That was my dad's signal, especially with the keys. When my dad started doing this, oh, what am I doing? That was my signal. Okay. Now, if I'm a student in junior high and I just figured out I made my teacher mad, who came on? Right? Because I don't want to be here. If you kick me out, I get to go goof off in the office. So I'm going to see if I can irritate you a little more. Right? Hands on the hips. Especially with the tapping of the foot. You see what I'm saying? Your body language can convey a lot. I will tell you that emotions are contagious. The administrator walks in, and what happens to you? You're nervous. What I didn't understand is when I walk in the room, you get nervous. Don't get nervous. I'm not there to evaluate you. I won't say much about anything. I'll just give you the thumbs up. Woo-hoo. I'll send you a little email about what I saw. This was great. And if I have some advice because I saw something, I'll send it to you. If I didn't see anything that I could give you advice on, I'd say great job and tell you all the things that I saw that were wonderful. And that's it. And I probably, by the way, will do that while I'm in the classroom. So if you see me on my phone in your classroom, I'm not playing Donkey Kong or whatever else. I'm writing you an email. I'm writing my notes for you. Because if I tried, I found out, if I wait till I get back to the office, it doesn't happen. So I try to give you feedback. Okay. So administrator walks in, and you get nervous. But what's going to happen to the students? Emotions are contagious. They're going to get what? Nervous. I walked into a 6th grader classroom at Lincoln. She's a brand new preliminary teacher, so she had student teaching, she had all this going on, and it's late in the year. And but what I didn't know is that the principal had just suspended one of her students because they got into a fight at lunch. 6th grade. All right, the second thing I didn't understand, but okay, I figured out later, she didn't really like math. And she thought being an elementary teacher, 1st grade, 2nd grade, I just have to worry about counting, a little simple adding. Now she's teaching pre-algebra. And she hated algebra as a student. She got by, but there it is, right? Math is not her. Y'all have that understanding? Math not your friend? You feel me on that one? Okay. So she's there, and then I walk in. I didn't understand. My title made her nervous. So she's already teaching something that she really is nervous about, and she had this disruption, and she's kind of distracted by the student that got suspended. And here I walk in, and I sit back in the class, and I put on my smile, and she begins to teach. And she got 2 slides ahead of herself in her PowerPoint. And she realized she messed up, and then she started giggling. And then she said, forget everything I just taught you. And then she tried to start over. But now the class is giggling, and she's giggling, and she's embarrassed because she realizes that her lesson is going to hell in a handbasket in a hurry. And I go, okay, I'm out of here. I need to go. And I walk out. And she later comes to me almost in tears. Mr. Thornton, that was the worst day of education I've ever had as being a teacher. I said, honey, if that was your worst day, you would have an amazing career. Right? I get it. I walked into another class, the poor teacher, it was 1st grade at Madison. Sitting there, just sit down. I mean, literally, I just sit down, and they're in their circle group, right? On the carpet. Kid, there comes lunch. So she calmly got the kids back into their seats, sent little kid off to call the nurse, got the nurse, had the janitor come in, clean the room, whoop, and done. And by that time, it was 25 minutes I'd been in there, and it was time for me to leave because I had more classes to observe. And she was so disappointed. You didn't get to see me teach. And I said, well, I got to see some wonderful classroom management. You had a procedure in place to put the kids over here, so they were over here. You knew what to do, to call the nurse. You knew how to get the janitor there, to clean it up. And you, most importantly, remained calm. And I saw all that. And I wrote her a letter or an email about all that. It was wonderful to see your classroom management when a crisis happens. She didn't get nervous when I walked into her room. That's kind of the difference. You know what I mean? Your emotions are contagious. Can I give you some personal insight? I know I'm lecturing you, and you're like, oh, come on, what is he going to shut? I get it. I got to tell you this. I told you that I went through divorce, but I was a teacher at the time. What would have happened if I'd have taken all the garbage that's happening in my personal life into the classroom? We've had teachers texting their lawyers, texting their ex, on the phone. Right? The body language is expressing that how's their effective teaching going on? I know life's going to happen at you at 120 miles an hour, and some things are going to happen to you that are going to upset you. That's just the way it is. It's life. It cannot come into the classroom. It has to stay outside the classroom. You have to figure out how to let it go and to put on your teacher uniform and put on that happy face and walk in and pretend like none of that other garbage happened. Because if you come in after having dealt with the spouse that you're not getting along with all weekend long and you're upset, how much capacity, 6th grade teacher, do you have for the knuckleheaded kid for the 4th time in November is getting under your skin? How much capacity do you have left? None! And what are you going to do? You're going to snap. That's what happens. Kiss your career bye. You're done. You can't yell at a student and say those things. I get that, right? You have got to leave whatever's happening. I know the dog's going to die. I know your car's going to break down. I know there's going to be a bill that you can't pay. I know that you're going to have an argument with somebody that you really love. I get it. It cannot, absolutely cannot come into the classroom. Okay? Leave it outside. And do whatever it takes, aside from drinking alcohol, to leave it at home. All right? It will affect what you're doing because emotions are contagious. If you're angry, your kids will be irritated. If you're all giddy and happy and hyper, your kids are going to be all giddy, happy, and hyper. And if you don't know, after it's windy, after Halloween, your kids are going to be higher than a kite. I don't know what it is about a windy day, but it will set your kids off. A rainy day, we had a lot of them last year. And now you're, for the 4th day in a row, no resets. Your kids are going to be all, woo, so will you. Learn how to calm down and be centered, because your emotions are contagious. All right, I've lectured you plenty. We normally have, at this point, an evaluation, but for whatever reason, it didn't get printed. And so at this time, unless you have questions, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for coming to our pre-credential teacher orientation.
Do we have to turn this roles and responsibilities into?
Oh my